Here in the forest of Gatineau is a giant. Uh, okay, not really. Here's a salamander. It's pretty small compared to my hand, but it is very big for its species. It lives in regions near fresh water, but another type of salamander doesn't live here or hasn't lived here since 50 to 70 years ago. And today I had the chance to go see one of these amphibians, these magnificent amphibians, in person. Here is a tiger salamander. They were abundant in this region for a long period of time. They had lots of food, water, but not enough space to survive. Humans chased them from their natural environment. It's also a species that is popular as a pet today, and it's also possible that we can introduce this species in the nature around Ottawa and Gatineau in the next coming years. How is this possible? Who is responsible for all of this? To release a reptile or amphibian in a habitat or an ecosystem? Well, these are excellent questions, but there's only one answer, and that is the herpetologist. They study species or specific species for numbers of reasons. They can determine if it's a good idea for the ecosystem to introduce these species of amphibians or reptiles in this region, or like if they've lived in this region in the past, or to eliminate an specific organism. They also do research on medicines from reptiles, more rattlesnakes. One thing that limits their research is the weather, though, for like certain species, because if a storm comes in, it can scare away all the animals. A lot of education is required to become a herpetologist. The most important course to take is science, with chemistry, biology, and ecology the most important. Although the more science classes that you take, the better chance you will have of getting a job. But herpetology is not a higher diploma for um, but herpetology is not a graduate program, so most herpetologists took zoology because herpetology is a subsidiary of zoology. Also, a second or third language would be helpful because you could be going researching all throughout the world. But why am I talking to this with you about this career? Herpetologists do a lot of difficult things in the realm of ecosystems. They do all the research of species of amphibians and reptiles, and they're the ones that do the captive breeding programs, or that run the captive breeding programs. They also make certain that the food chains stay intact and not destroyed. For example, in the 1930s and 1938s, like in the 30s, cane toads were released in Australia to kill the cane beetle that was destroying crops. Today, cane toads number about 2 billion in Australia, and the cane beetles are still there. The reason that this has happened is because a company did it themselves and they didn't ask for help from a herpetologist. They didn't think about the food for these guys that was more easy to get than these beetles. They multiplied so rapidly that the amount of population that will be there in the end cannot be determined. But another type of animal is in a better place thanks to herpetologists. The tuatara is a reptile that looks like a lizard but isn't. It can live up to or more of 100 years, and it takes 38 years so that it can reproduce with only 5 to 7 eggs. What's more is that in the nature, it can only be found on 2 little islands in the Pacific, where sailors accidentally transferred rodents that battle for space with them on these islands. But in England, we've started a captive breeding population under herpetologists of a zoo. So maybe there is still hope for both these reptiles and humans alike. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.